Hi, I'm Harold Riegler, producer at Dedelic Entertainment, and today I'm happy to reveal some exciting details about our upcoming game, The Lord of the Rings, Gollum. Gollum has always fascinated us. While being completely essential to the story written by J.R.R. Tolkien, Gollum's long chase for his precious ring has never been told in detail. Yet his incredible journey from Mordor through Mirkwood to the mines of Moria takes players to places they haven't seen like this before, while setting the stage for events that will ultimately decide the fate of all of Middle-earth. Gollum has pretty much traveled everywhere. He's also pretty much met everyone, and by looking at events from his angle, players will experience Middle-earth through the eyes and twisted mind of one of the most iconic characters of all time. All of that in our very own artistic style. From his time in the slave pits of the Dark Tower to his stay with the Elves of Mirkwood, Gollum will creep, sneak, and trick his way past faithful, detailed environments, some of which have never been seen before in such detail. The Lord of the Rings Gollum is a cinematic stealth action adventure. It mixes stealth and parkour gameplay and really leverages Dedelic's expertise in crafting engaging stories. Gollum is no traditional hero. He's learned not to take any sides other than his own, and some of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth want him either captive or dead. In the game, you will meet some iconic characters, but also interesting personalities less known to players, but nonetheless essential to the events unfolding. We've been highly faithful to the descriptions in the books, depicting, for instance, the Moth of Sauron, the Lieutenant of Barad-dûr, who is constantly scheming on behalf of his Dark Lord. In the game, we will see his face for the first time, but also Thranduil, King of the Elves of Mirkwood, father of Legolas, and last but not least, Gandalf the Wizard. We're all super excited to be working on this amazing project, and we can't wait to show you more. Stay tuned on social media at Gollum Game.
Once there was an explosion. A bang which gave rise to life as we know it. Then came the next explosion. An explosion that will be our last.
Sam, I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
Rebuilding America isn't gonna get rid of the BTs.
But at least we'll have hope.
I'm a porter. I don't care about connecting anything.
You see, I've come to understand the truth of the Death Stranding.
I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
PlayStation.
How do? Good evening, good evening. Apologies that I've entirely been ignoring chat. I've been trying to find a video, and I cannot find it in anywhere. Driving me nuts. How is everybody today? Hello, Ewan Carr. Hello, Shap. Not seen you in a while. Hey, Unjeebs. You're lurking in here somewhere. Hello, Mini Flames. Who else we got? A few others in. Nice to see you all. Nice to see you all. Yeah. So, how dare you? I know. So we have a Covalex unit, and full-size box delivery Covalex unit, and I've got a video of it running on its air ram. We never had the air ram working at CitizenCon. It was a project that we did for our own org booth. And because we did so many other org booths and ended up doing more stuff for CIG at the last minute, it sort of got done by the wayside and didn't really get finished. It's been sat languishing literally ever since. I've not touched it since CitizenCon 2019, so it's been sitting there for a few years but I really want to get it finished. And one of the things that has spurred me on to finish it, oddly, was a screenshot that someone sent me, and I've no idea where I'll find it now. So I need to actually get my folders and stuff sorted out better. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to find it. But so in Origin, they have done a new color scheme for the Kovalex units, and I really like it. So the normal Kovalex units are the sort of ox bloody pink red, orangey, kind of burnt orangey ox bloody type weird color, and yellow, which is sort of the main Kovalex brand colors. And then in Microtech there's white versions, and we originally painted in its sort of proper Kovalex colors, a sort of dark, the sort of burnt orange, and I wasn't a big fan of it. We didn't finish it completely, but I still wasn't a massive fan of it. Yeah, exactly. Orangey yellow blahness. Indeed, it's just like they're cool, but in real life and the color, I didn't like it. And then the Microtech ones came out. This was after CitizenCon. I thought, oh, when I finish making it and like actually get the ARAM fully working and everything, I'll do it in white. But it was a bit of a boring color scheme, if I'm honest. It's just white with sort of grey decals on it, and I'm really annoyed that I can't find it now. So much stuff thrown into chats all over Discord. I'm sure all you guys have the same issue. I don't know where it got shoved, but it's now a sort of blue. Sort of blue and grey, and yeah, I really like it. So annoyed I can't find it. But yeah, so if anyone's hello Patch, good evening. So now it's kind of this really nice sort of darker grey, mid-tone grey, blues, whites, and it's FDL colours actually. So it's branded up FDL, and along the bottom it says FDL powered by Kovalex. So it's still a Kovalex shipping unit. It's FDL's obviously owned by Kovalex underneath it all, which is quite interesting. So that's really cool. So a bit more stuff. It's really weird. I really wanted to get it finished and get it working and everything. And just to give you an idea of how awesome this unit is, there's a touchscreen on the side that James Stormtrooper fully did the UI for. So you walk up to it, you press the I've got a package to pick up or package to drop off. It then does the proper cycling thing and opens the shutter. You then put the box in or take a box out. And it's actually got RFID chips in it, so it knows which box is which. And then you put it, the shutter closes, and it goes and does all the sounds and everything. And the idea was to do it as like a full-on gamification at the event. So, you know, we would tweet out a mission where you had to go to the Game Glass stand or to Shapcap at the ADI stand and go, I've got a pickup, and they would have a box and they would hand you the box. You would then take it to the JRDF stand, put it in the Kovalex unit, and you get like discount voucher or something. And then the next mission that someone would be to go and pick that box up again from the Kovalex and deliver it to the Game Glass stand or something. So we had this really, really cool idea of doing this whole interactive gamification at the event, and we were just so against the wall busy we never got around to finishing it all. So I definitely want to get it finished because it's sitting languishing staring at me as a project, and it's sort of yeah. Well, it said to bugger off. Well, it throws up the same error if you can you put the wrong box in Star Citizen? I suppose when you put it in, it would close the lid, and then go an error and open the door again, I guess. Can you put the wrong box in Star Citizen? Ah, right. So it just won't let you place it. So we don't know what'll happen, do we? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Like everything else, we're filling in the gaps that CIG hasn't thought of yet. So that's on. Once I've got the Carrack polished, I want to get this done because it shouldn't take me long to do. It's about a week or so's worth of work to get it all running again, actually get all the tech married into it properly. There'll be a few bits of things I'll want to repair and just sort of things it's been getting knocked about for a few years, and then repaint it. Now the repainting is going to take the longest, but I would like to do it, as I say, in this new high-tech color scheme. But I don't want it looking absolutely brand new. I want to put a little bit of wear on it as well, because the wear looks really good when we repainted the GSS unit, and a bit of metallic coming through this grey and the blue will look absolutely lovely. And I'll do this desk as well, because I really want to repaint this desk. Again, it's the same sort of grotty blairness Covalex colours, so I want to do this in blue and grey and white as well. So that'll be quite a nice little project to get that finished, and then hopefully the Covalex unit will wing its way off and live at the new Manchester office. I'm sure they won't mind it living in there, and then it's out of my way. So that's cool. So what else has been happening? This thing has been happening. This is awesome. This is Mr. Engineer has made a base for his amazing Space Whale statue model, which is absolutely gorgeous. So absolutely hats off to him for that. I think that's absolutely superb. We've had Steve CC has been making these cute little 1 to 500.
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Thank you, Mini Flames, for the follow, and for triggering my awesome follow thing. So he's been up to that, so that's cool. What else did I see? Hayashi has been finishing off his awesome helmet. So it's the Makers channel is really starting to. If you're not part of the Discord, !Discord in chat will get you a link to it. We have a fantastic growing Makers community in our Discord, and really cool people doing really cool projects, sort of really thinking outside the box and doing some awesome stuff. I love this stand, going back to Unji's thing. I love the Crusader stand he's done. I think it's absolutely awesome. Love the colors and everything. He was musing whether to have like a clear arm at the back, but no, I think the more sort of the more sort of simple black just sets the Space Whale off so well. It just so good. I love the paint effect on it. I think it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, it really does look good, doesn't it, Shep? It is really, really cool. We'd like to. We've been musing about trying to do these in brass. Actually, doing a brass Space Whale trophy as one of the things that you can spend your JREX on. So if any of you have missed the whole JREX thing, they are JRECs, which is kind of our on our website currency, not our stream currency, our website currency. And there's lots of different ways you can earn them. There is now, as of about 20 minutes ago, something you can spend them on as well. Hello, Nugatine. Hello, Drew. So I finally managed to add. The app is great, but it's a bit derpy with the Shopify API. So but I will say, although it's not great, the support is fantastic. So I would certainly recommend this Grow Wave app to anyone looking for a similar app, because the support more than covers any sort of like issues with the software itself. And to my mind, that is more important. So they're sort of sorting everything out step by step, which is awesome. So I've added the first thing that you can spend your JREX on, which is having personalized boxes. So having your name and stuff and your number lasered into the box, like the first 10 that buy a kit get for free. So that's cool. You earn JREX by spending money with us. So every £1 you spend, you get a JREC. So that's cool. You also get them for referring people. We have a referral scheme now. It's all very exciting. Referring new customers to us. You get them for writing reviews, for what else do you get them for? Reviews, opening an account on your birthday. Hello, Coffee. How you doing? So loads of ways of earning them, and now we have one thing you can spend them on, which is getting personalized boxes. We are. I do want to talk about other things that we want to do to spend them on. So if you cast your mind back to when we did Invictus posters, which I thought I'd grabbed, let me grab one. Excuse the chair stream. There we go. Right, so we did a exclusive offer with Board Gamer not so long ago, just before. Hello, Delius Art. So we did this thing with Board Gamer, and we did these artwork prints. So we did 2. I could totally put them on this screen. Excuse how tremendously messy my desk is. It's all for good reasons. So these were that cup we will need in a minute. It isn't just a random cup. So these were Invictus artwork prints. I flipped my camera so I didn't have to flip things. These are Invictus artwork prints that we did. They are kind of A3. They're the length of A3, but not as high, because all the images in Star Citizen are 16 by 9. So we have done 16 by 9 plus a banner bit at the bottom. So these were 2 double-sided posters that we did. So these are double-sided, and we did these for this sort of offer we do with Board. Can still get them if you go watch his old videos and work out how to get them. But they were exclusive to Board. But it took us a little bit to get permission to do these, because they obviously are a licensed product, although we don't sell them, and that's one of the conditions that we're not allowed to sell them. Now, as far as we're aware, we will double check. There's no reason why we can't do new artwork prints of different stuff and give them away as part of our reward thing, because that's still a marketing purposes, still can't buy them, so you can spend your JREX on them basically. So we kind of wanted to know what sort of posters you would like, or artwork prints, not posters, artwork prints, very important for some reason. So yeah, what sort of artwork prints we'd like. We thought we'd do some Carrack ones. Our artwork for our instruction manuals and boxes is being done by Captain Raoul, Hashka, Hart, and Darshnator. So they've done some amazing screenshots and stuff that we could have printed properly, which would be absolutely amazing. So we certainly want to do some of those to celebrate the Carrack and put them available. We also would like to just kind of know what you guys would want, and it's that whole thing of posters from around the game. Basically, it's that whole thing of I don't know if I did. I think I did a list of them somewhere. Let me just see if I can. I'm better at finding those and everything else. That was in this conversation here. Yeah. So there are absolutely tons of posters in Star Citizen. So I'm just going to fly a few of them up on the screen. These are just the ones you find around the game. These are just the ones you find around the game, and we just sort of went around and picked some out that we quite liked. I'm a hauler, so I like the "Your Cargo, Your Responsibility" poster. I thought that was brilliant. And you guys will recognize all these. These are in and around the place, and there is the are you making these yourselves? Seems like a pricey endeavor. Yeah, so we aren't making them, we have them printed. So printing costs for things like this, it's about 120 quid for 500 to 1,000 of them. So it's not a ludicrous amount of money. It actually costs us a lot more in the time to get them signed off, and to we either try and get higher resolution ones, or use AI upscaling to actually get these posters to look good in that size. Actually getting artwork prints done is not hugely expensive. It's on nice paper. It's obviously it's nice and glossy, it's good, but they don't cost a fortune. I think because they're only kind of A3 size, it's not the kind of ludicrous money. And it's one of those things that if we can spend 300-400 quid to give you guys, that'll buy us 2,000-3,000 posters, prints of this stuff, and that's the thing. When you have artwork done, the scaling for having them printed is insane. So just random numbers, say to have 100 printed will cost you 70 quid. To have 500 printed will cost you 100 quid. The difference to have just more done is so bizarre to me. I think because a lot of setup costs, and these printers just churn them out. But the other interesting thing is there isn't really any more money spent if you want 5 different designs of the same size print. So you just give them 5 files, and they go, well, 1,000 in total still only costs you X amount. So it's just like there is a lots of savings to be made of us picking 20 different posters we want to do, having a run of 4,000 done or something like that, and they'll come down to pence each. They're really not bad. So we kind of want to know loads of designs that you guys would like for the next year or so. Dot around the verse. Send us your favorite posters you'd like to have as artwork prints for you to spend your JREX on. I say there's loads and loads around. If you'd prefer to have screenshots taken by people like Hashkahar and stuff like that, please let us know that as well. Because there is that whole thing. We don't think the CRGL have an issue with us doing ones that have been screenshotted from people like Hashkahar and Captain Raoul and people. Or if you'd prefer the ones from actually in-game, let us know. And we'll do collections. And the idea is we'll kind of do a tube with 4 posters, 4 artwork prints in. And then you'll spend however many JREX to add to an order. Now, if you just ordered the artwork prints with your JREX, you would have to pay postage. So it's probably worth, sort of sticking them in when you're buying something else or sticking in the parcel. The actual posters, the prints are free, but obviously there's still shipping depending on where you are. So that's one thing. That's another thing that we're going to let you spend your. Please give all. Excellent. Thanks, Drew. Top helping. Extra points if people know where this t-shirt is from. I was so excited to find this t-shirt, which is showing my age. So it's I'm number 1, so why try harder? Will CIG send us raw files? Yes, if they exist. One of the issues with a lot of these is they're really old. There aren't actually high-res files for these anymore. Either they're done by external contractors or they're just done on a whim, and there isn't a... These are 2K images, I will say. All the textures in CIG are now... Yes, thank you, Many Flames. It is from... right here, right now. I'm just really excited because I've got it in the right colour. It's just like, oh, so good. So, yeah, there aren't... Of these old posters, the really old ones, they're really 2K, 4K sometimes, which isn't really... high enough for doing these big prints, but we use AI upscaling and it's worked perfectly. The Invictus posters look absolutely perfect. And the image they started on wasn't. AI upscaling is insane. So that's that. What else has been going on? I've tried and failed to cast a Carrack bridge. This is our first attempt and our first abysmal failure. We discovered that using a bit of foam worked last time, didn't we? So this is the first nose attempt of the Carrack. Obviously, abysmal failure. What happened was I took it out too early. I was impatient and I didn't realise just how squishy soft it was going to be inside. And it all tore apart. So I pulled it out of the mold. So it's going to have to be left overnight. Now, it looks very... So you can sort of see... Let me show you what it looks like. So this is the insert that we're using. So this is the 3D printed bit. And you can hopefully see, if I get this to the camera and it'll focus for me. No, that way. You can sort of see it's got its 3 pilot seats. In there, it's got the upper deck Oh, that's an old one. Apologies, that's an old one. This is a new one. I was going to say there's detailing on the upper deck as floor panels and stuff. There's the 3 seats in there. There's still supports in at the back. We'll take those off in a minute. It's got an actual railing around the side, and it does have the Holoviewer table. And I know because some of you asked, I have printed a teeny tiny hologram ball. So, because I'm insane, it would appear. So, what we have to do here is we have to take this off the scaffold. We have to put this little globe onto the holo table in here, and then this goes inside our silicon mold, and we run a cast. That's the plan, anyway. Attempt 1 went badly wrong. So, I say, I pulled it out too early, and you'll also notice it's really, really foggy. So, but failure is all about learning. What did we learn from this? Well, it absolutely seamlessly joined to the 3D print, which is amazing. We did get a few bubbles in it, 1 or 2 bubbles. I think, again, I was too slow. This has only a pot life of about 5 to 6 minutes, and it was getting sludgy. And what happened was I'd put 2 pour points going into the top of this, and then when I put this insert in, it sort of blocked them off a little bit too much, so it wasn't getting the flow, and it was a lot thicker than I was expecting by the time it had degassed. So I need to degas it faster, or just not let it degas for as long. And then I need to get it in faster, so we're just going to open pour it tonight, because I haven't done another pour point 1, and it doesn't. If we don't get it perfectly smooth at the back, it's not going to matter for this test. Now, this is actually clearer than it looks. In that, it isn't clearer than it looks, but we will just put a lacquer on it. And the reason I brought the cup is that what I'm going to do is just put a bit of IPA on it. And that'll sort of mimic a gloss varnish, and you'll see how clear it goes. So while it's got a liquid on it, you can kind of see those seats and everything inside. You're just looking at the bottom bit of this, and it does go crystal clear. So with a lacquer coat on, like we put on the other ones, these are perfectly transparent, which is amazing. So that's cool. This is obviously a failure. It broke. We're going to make a new one. So that's fine. Other thing we need to think about is we need to tint it. So, cough. Struts. So the struts, the only way we can do the struts, because we can't 3D print the struts, they're just too fine, they're just going to have to be hand painted on by whoever's painting it, unfortunately. Because also the struts are also different colours, because I think if you're doing it as Explorer, they're white. If you're doing it as Carrack, they're black. So, you know, that's dependent on your paint scheme as well. It is picked out thing. So you're doing an overmold for the clear. Yes, so we're in... I'm going to just grab the actual mould, because I've got it sat over here. So this is the silicon mould, and then we need to take one of these off the scaffold anyway. So let's quickly shoot this off its scaffold. So as I say, we're going to have to take this off its scaffold and sand it up and prep it to go into this mold. So I have done it so it's not going to take me long to do, because obviously the longer it takes me to do it, the more we've got to add to the cost of putting it in the kit. So there we go. So that breaks off nicely. So there we have our bridge section, so you can see all the way through it. There are the rear seats in it as well, with the little terminals. Get a bit of sandpaper, buff the back. I've managed to get all the wet sanding. You see all the really bad habits I have. I'm not going to waste this. It's not for this. So this, we've got the two magnet holes in it, and you can see that they are mirrored in there. So this just fits in. Make sure I get it the right way around. And those magnet holes line it up beautifully and just sort of keep it exactly where we want it, and then we're going to pour in from the back. So today we're just going to pour straight. I do have a lid that goes on it with 2 pour points, and I say they just, I didn't think about it enough, when we're doing that. So it sort of got trapped, so it couldn't go through fast enough. So yeah, so the idea is we will actually have cast the actual bridge with its seats and everything into this mold. Now, obviously, there is a slightly blue tint to the what am I drinking? Thunder. I am a huge fan of Thunder. It is just too nice. I could drink far too much of it. How is the hollow globe added? Basically, carefully with some tweezers. So we'll have to put that in before we actually cast it in. So we'll just pull this back out. So I'm going to literally take some tweezers, and it's a push fit. I just have to sort of bend this up slightly, and it clicks in between the roof and the hollow globe. I don't know what this is going to look like yet. Interesting. I don't even know whether we're going to see it or not. I kind of won't know till we got it right. The one that failed, I can't see it well enough. There is one inside this, but it split pretty much where we would see it. So I don't know what it's going to look like. So so Thunder is a toffee vodka. But it's a vodka made with the toffee from the start. So it's not a liqueur, it's just a very heavily toffee flavored vodka. And it's just too nice. It's just too nice. I can drink far too much of it. So that we need to do. So that's the main thing we're going to do tonight is do the next casting and try not to fuck it up this time. So that's cool. I thought we'd give away some JREX. So let's get that going. We'll do a half-hour. Giveaway event. See if the giveaway app is still working. Clicks a button, hoping it's going to do something. Yeah, there we go. So 100 JREX. They'll be cool. I might up the amount we give away, but yeah, it's so you get tickets. You get more tickets if you're subbed. All the rest of it, you know the drill, guys. So the Ravcol. So that's cool. Yeah. So we should probably go and do some casting, I guess.
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Thank you, Chefcat, for this up. And for triggering my just the best sub MP3. So if I've only had these sounds running on all my alerts for this stream and last stream, I watch a guy called Simon Whistler. Isn't it? I watch a guy called Simon Whistler who has about 6 different YouTube channels, and one of them's a true crime one. He does a lot of engineering ones. One of them's a true crime one, and I was listening to this true crime podcast, and the bad guy in it was this guy called JR, and I have clipped so many of these amazing alerts from this one true crimes video. I was wetting myself laughing listening to it. It was so funny. It was amazing. Right, so let's go over to the table of loveliness. I shall disappear here. Let me take me drink and my phone so I can see chat. Right. Hello. Let me get my phone sorted so I can see chat, otherwise I won't know what's going on. I had chat open. Reopen it 1 second. Oh, notice. It's there. I knew it was there. Cool. You are really not up to date. If I send a message. Ah, cool. Excellent. Yes, so we're on the casting table. I'm moving this camera around. I do have a few of these cameras, and I need to sort of like permanently mount them in really good places. I could do to be over there a little bit, but I need to build, 3D print some mounts, some camera mounts, be really cool. So what do we need to do this casting? Obviously alcohol, because that is very essential. Probably some isopropyl alcohol as well. Oh, this is something I didn't show people. So on Sunday, we played around with the base for the Carrack, and I had a bit more of a play with it, and I actually have done an upstand now with the Anvil Aerospace logo in it, which I actually really like. So that was just another thing that's done. So we will need. So first of all, we're going to need to put this tiny little hollow globe thingy in, which is going to go well or badly. Again, you're watching me break this for the live for the first time. I think going in from the back is going to be easier. It's one of those things that I thought, well, you know, what's the worst that could happen, sort of thing. Well, it's a relatively loose fit. I expected that to be a tighter fit. Interesting. If we turn it ever so slightly, or wedge in a bit. It's easy to put in. Rattling around a little bit. We'll see what happens. If it floats around in the cast, we'll have learned something. So, if you can see it, but oh no. So it now has a little hollow globe in the center there. So it could well just disappear and vanish when it's cast into a block. I really have no idea. So let's stick this in and get it in the right place to start its life. So that's in there. So that's cool. So we've now got this in the block. We're all good. This we don't, well, we're not going to use. We need to make a new one when we've decided exactly how we want to pour it. The other thing is, if this does work, and we don't need to polish this master first. So this was the master for this cast. I didn't polish it, deliberately just took it straight out the printer and did a cast of it. Details, yes, it's details like this are what set these apart and what makes Callie still roll her eyes at me every single day. It has to be said. So yeah, I thought, well, if I don't need to polish the master, then we can do a master with like 5 of them on, because it will be impossible to polish if they're all rammed quite close together. But it does mean that casting them becomes cheaper because we can just cast them together, and then we can just top coat it with this amazing new clear coat that we have. So that's cool. Oh yeah, for all those who sorry, I apologize for people who's religiously watch all of our streams. I appreciate that not everyone can do that. So I feel like I reiterate an awful lot, but apologies if that's the case. We are doing quite a lot of effort with our arrow screen. So this, so I can tilt it. That is the current arrow screen that we do. And with a combination of using our new printers and our new top coat, we can now do that. So the one on the left is the new one, the one on the right is the current one. Look at how ludicrously clear that is. It is remarkable, even though that is 3D printed. It's still 3D printed and top coated, just like the one on the right. Different printer, different top coat. So much difference. So we will be top coating these Carrack canopies as well. Because this top coat is an automotive top coat, so it's really hard, really tough. We'll protect it from UV discoloration and from impact damage, and it'll make it super smooth and shiny. So it's all wins, all wins. It is so good, isn't it, Unji? It is so good. we get ludicrously excited, Unji and myself and Drew, as sort of like the JRDF 3D printing mob, when we discover these things. It's not through lack of trying. Holy crap, we put some hours into getting stuff to be clear. Right. So, what have we got here? Right, mixing cups. This is the resin we're using. It is a Smooth Cast by Smooth On. All the products I use are Smooth On. They're amazing. This is a Smooth Cast 325 UE. EU, sorry. I don't know what the EU stands for. It's not European Union. It's something to do with something else. This isn't, obviously you've seen the one that failed. I'm not allergic to this stuff, it seems. I didn't think I would be, but I haven't. I died of anaphylactic shock, so it's all good. I am vastly allergic to another Smooth On Clear product. But I haven't died yet, so that's good. The gloves I've got, I've run out of my gloves, so I'm on Callie's gloves now, which are way too small for me. So I'm going to rip like 3 trying to put them on. You still have to be careful with this resin.
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Thank you for the follow, whoever that is. Me right over. Nope, missed it. Thank you for the follow, wherever you are. I have a phone, I can't see a screen. Thank you very much for the follow. Oh, these gloves are so small. Hey, excellent. So what we're going to do is be very careful with resin. You should always be very careful with resin. The reason being that when these two things combine, this is a 2-part catalyst resin, part A, part B. Hilariously, both of them come with really long warning labels for different things. This is dangerous for one reason, this is dangerous for another. When you combine them, they're an exothermic reaction. They give off a huge amount of heat and fumes, which you need to try and avoid as well. And then when they're actually cured, they are plastic. Proper, full-on, inert plastic. It's just like, plastic's a weird material. It really is. Now, the other thing we have to think about when we're thinking about the Carrack is the fact that it isn't clear. One of the reasons that we tried to use the crystal clear resin, so the PTV screens have the crystal clear resin that I'm allergic to in, and they are what's classed as water clear, so there's no tint to it at all. This stuff has a slight yellow tint or slight amber tint, very, very slight, ludicrously slight. Only a problem if you want it to be perfectly water clear, whereas we don't, because we actually want to put a tint into this. Carrack and our stuff is blue, so we have a blue dye. My slight worry is that this dye is called So Strong, and I only want to tint it. So 1 drop of this does a pint of resin to a blue hue, and I want a very slight blue hue. So I'm in 2 minds. This is a tester kit. This is about a £45 tester kit. It's only a small one. So if I ruin it, it's not the end of the world. However, I would like not to ruin it. When we're mixing this up for the eventual Carrack production run, we will get the much larger sort of £300 drum of this stuff and mix the colour in that so that it's consistent across the whole production run. Otherwise, we'll be trying to mix a ludicrously small amount of dye to a very, very small amount of resin each time, and it'll be different. So, but that's why I've got the big bucket today. I was tempted to perhaps dye it, just to see how horrible it's going to be. We've got to do it at some point, shall we? So, argument is that you only dye 1/2 of it. So you're actually trying to work out what half of the colour. So you're trying to make a colour that's twice the strength you want it to be, just to make it even more difficult. I'm going to add it to part B. So I'm going to pour all of part B into this jug, which is a crazy, crazy thing to do. But that's fine. So I want all of this to come out. So this is a test. This is also a test to see whether, when we dye this, yeah, I need a product called Slightly Strong. That beverage is way too similar looking and close to to the resin. Yeah, I know, man. Never, ever accidentally drunk resin. I'm sure it'll be fine. So, yeah, you and Car, ordering new screens. So, yes, what will happen is we will let you know when these arrow screens, so we're doing a production run of these at the moment. I'm hopefully getting them done before we start printing the Carrack in earnest, because the disadvantage of this is using a Form 3 printer, and we only have 2 Form 3 printers. We have 5 Form 2 printers, we have 2 Form 3 printers, and more stuff is getting printed on these new printers because they're better, and that has the disadvantage of us not having that many of those printers, and they're very expensive. So I don't know when we're going to have these produced, but what will happen is I'll produce enough to replace all the ones that are in our current stock on the shelf, which is about 40 odd arrows. That's not all the ones that are left, that's how many we've got on the shelf at the moment. And then I'll do another production of about 100 of them, and then I'll let you all know. And then you just have to order a spare part off the spare parts policy, and you'll get a shiny new edition screen. Right, so let's get on with this. So 1 drop apparently is a pint. So I'm going to put a drop on this piece of acrylic because it's quite a thick gel type arrangement. That is a lot of dye. It doesn't look a lot, dye goes a long way. So what I did was I've got this little this smaller thing, so we can put a small bit of a drop in. See, my God, even that tiny little bit. Even that tiny little bit. Oh my Lord. Yeah, that's blue enough. Oh good God. I knew that would happen. So, yeah. Let's clean that off the slide. Blue dye and everything there. Right, so we put a little stick of a little drop and we've already got a very blue liquid. So this is half the strength it's going to be because we're mixing it 50-50 with part A. Yeah, dyes are ludicrous. Proper inks and dyes are immensely strong. You have to be so careful with them. But that's fine. I quite like that colour. I think that, I mean, that's so unscientific. But what I really want to learn from this is whether, when it sets, is it going to go darker? Is it going to go more opaque, less opaque? So that I'm hoping that it doesn't change. I'm hoping that what we see when we pour it in is very similar to what we have when it's cured. That's my hope, because then we can kind of eye the whole batch in a big mixing jug. I really want to get enough resin to actually do the whole batch of 500 all in one, because then we'll get the consistency. So that's part B dyed now. Now, what we must do, other than clean our work surface, of course, uncured resin is way more horrible and dangerous than cured resin. Right, that needs to just go away, as does that. You have to throw away a lot of stuff in this mixing game. It's very difficult to clean this stuff because it's quite reactionary. Right, so that's fine. Done. We need a label. I don't have any labels up here. I'll need to remember this is blue. I don't have another one of these, so I'll just label that as so I know it's blue later on. So now we're going to mix it. So I say it's going to get half that intensity. Hello, golden triangles. Super constant. Yes, it's ridiculous. Right, so it should go half what we just saw there, because obviously we are mixing it 50-50. So we don't need a lot. So one of the hardest things when you're doing these sort of like test pours and stuff is you end up wasting quite a lot of material, because it's really hard to mix a very small amount of something, because so much of it sticks to the cups and things. And it's also harder to actually get it an accurate 50-50 mix, which is quite annoying. There's various things we could use. So we could mix it in a syringe, which I'm kind of tempted to do. So I've got various size syringes. So these are quite handy. I used this to inject the resin last time. They're not very big. They're only 100ml, which obviously compared to that, which is 600. So your gradients are a lot easier to mark on this. I put the smaller tip on it last time, thinking it was going to be a lot more fluid than it turned out to be. As soon as these things mix together, they start to thicken. So turned out that it wasn't going to be a problem. So what we do need to do, if we're going to use one of these, because we're going to have to degas in it as well, we're going to have to block the end so it can't leak out. if we took this and bunged this end and we could use that as a cap, that would work. So we need to just make shit up as we go along. That's what we need to do. So if we cut a really, really small bit of silicon off this mold that we don't need anymore, just cut a little circle. Like that. And stuff that into the end of here. We might be able to sort of fashion a cap. Need a bigger bit. Forgot how squishy silicon was. And we had a pokey stick. Yeah. Get a Q-tip. This will either go well or badly because it's either going to hold it or it's going to leak everywhere. But I do think that mixing it in this, actually mixing it in a bit's too big. God damn it. Here's the worry, if it's not big enough, it's not going to cram in the hole. If it's too loose, it's not going to block up the hole. Because we don't want this to leak for obvious reasons. So this might not be doing it for us. I mean, I can't see that that's going to leak. How do we test it? We don't. We just kind of hope, I guess. Is that what we're going to do? I guess when we start pouring in, we're going to find out real quick, aren't we? Oh, or we could pull back on the plunger. Seems a pretty good pressure head, so yeah, let's try it. So if we put it in the cup like that, right, push that lid on, put it in the cup like that, mix it, and then if it does leak, it's just going to go in the cup. Let's do that. Sounds like a brilliant idea. Right, okay, so we don't need a lot. The other advantage of having it in the syringe is if it is so thick that we struggle to get it out, we can stick the plunger in the end and actually force it in. Which will be better than hanging around waiting for a drip in, because I say we've only got about 5 minutes once we start mixing these two things together. Now that's not 5 minutes to mix it together and get it into here. That's 5 minutes to mix it thoroughly, degas it in the degas chamber, take it out of the degas chamber, pour it into the mold, settle the mold, get the mold into a pressure pot and pressurize to 60 psi. So there's a lot to do in this 5 minutes. So it's all about preparation. I say I wasn't prepared for how viscous it was last time, so it took me way too long to get it into the mold, and that's why we ended up with air bubbles. Because obviously the less viscous it is when it gets pressurized, the less of the air bubble problem there'll be. Now mixing it in a syringe is going to be hard though. Didn't think of that. Why? Because some of it's going to go down into the bottom bit. We're not going to be able to mix that bit. Okay, so we're going to have to mix it in the cup, annoyingly, and pour it into the syringe. Okay. It's just trying to think through how this is going to work. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Enough whining and whinging and bitching. Let's do this. So I need to not mix as much as I did last time because I wasted a lot last time. So we're just going to go... preferably, these are in 20 mil increments. Yeah. Oh, that's so bubbly. That is enough. So that's our part B. Now for our part A. Okay. That's our part A. Right, the clock has now started because we have actually, the two liquids are touching. So we need to stir. We need to stir thoroughly, but not overly vigorously, because that's when we start to introduce more air into it. We need to make sure we scrape round the sides. I'm going to do this for about 30 seconds. They need to be mixed well. There's no, there's no room for not mixing these things properly. Okay, happy with that. Degas chamber. I'm going to go into the bottom of that. Don't want that anymore. Degas lid. Pump on. Depressurizing. So gauge is now going down. So what this is doing... Actually, I need a mobile, like, pointy camera, don't I? What I need is more cameras. That's what I need. Yeah, I don't know when the raffle may finish when we're halfway through doing stuff, so we'll just have to wait to draw it. So, bubbles are coming up. This is really bad sort of ventriloquist radio, isn't it? So, bubbles are coming up. Not like frothing like you get with the silicon, but yeah, it is. They are coming out. It's now got a head on it like a very sort of weak beer. We're coming down to minus 25, or well, is that in bar? No, we're coming up to about minus 1 bar. So, obviously these sort of setups can't reach total vacuum. There's no sort of hope of doing that. But it's just about getting enough air out of it that we're sort of forcing the bubbles out as much as possible. But we need to do this quick. What I do need to do is kind of fill this with wood at some point, so to reduce the amount of air that this pump has to pull out, and then it would actually depressurize a lot faster. So that's where we're sitting at. We're going to wait 30 seconds. No, much more. I waited far too long last time. I was waiting till all the bubbles are gone, and by the time I actually got to that point, it was so thick that it won't go in the mold. So, or won't go in the mold easily, I should say, which is obviously a disaster. Let's get a bit of paper, because this is going to make a mess. My pressure pot's down here, so that's fine. 10 seconds. Still a bit frothy, but that head will disappear when we let the air back into the pot, because obviously those bubbles will get much smaller again. Right, it's enough. Slowly let the air out. We're going to take our makeshift cap off, because we don't now need it, because we're just going to pour this straight in and just basically use this. Do we need to? Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. That has already gone off. That has already gone off. Oh, no. What have we done? That's not setting? Wow, so this dye has perhaps... Premix colour into part B. That's what we did before adding to part A. That made it go off so fast. Like, this is already a burning hot solid gel. That's mad. That is crazy mad. Man, this stuff's quick. Okay. try again. I don't know how to do things that quickly. It's like, oh, that's mad quick. Right, okay. So, right. We're going to need to degas quicker, aren't we? Do we not degas? We're going to get bubbles if we don't degas. Man. We're going to need to degas really fast, right? Okay. Right, let's work out how to degas much, much faster. What are we going to use? So let me get another mixing cup. Right, so got some IPA bottles here. So these are really, really thick plastic IPA bottles. Now, I don't think that these will explode under a vacuum. But we're going to try and see if they do. I say, I don't think this vacuum pump is strong enough to break these. Worst case, we could fill them with water, I suppose. Oh, it might do, actually. That's looking kind of scary. That's inflating them. Okay. So we need to fill these with water. Right. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a moment. Yay! Right. Let's go my silly questions. Right, so for all those that don't know how water theory, so liquids are incompressible and therefore inexpandable. Obviously, water will boil under a very low pressure, but this water itself won't be under a low pressure because it's trapped in this, so it will stay at the same pressure. But we're just reducing the amount of air that this thing has to suck out, because the quicker it can suck the air out, the faster we can degas, and that is so much faster now. We should just test it, just check the caps can cope with this. It's obviously pulling the. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so that is so much quicker now. I have no doubt that these bottles will take it. Yeah, that's a lot quicker. Cool. So that'll speed that up for us, which will be good. We're literally, I think, going to have to get it, mix it, get it down to degas, hope that pulls enough out, open it up, pour it, because that was so, like, mind-blowingly thick. And I don't know whether the dye is... Definitely says add it to part B, and this hasn't solidified. You know, this doesn't. This is still liquid, so don't know. Don't know. So less mixing, less degassing, more pouring, JR. More pouring. Let's do it. So also make sure that we're not mixing too much. I mean, it's exothermic, so it shouldn't matter. We could do with a smaller mixing cup, couldn't we? But hey, this is the smallest I have. I mean, we could draw it in 2 syringes, but that's a bit of a waste. Sorry, excuse my thinking to myself here. No, let's go for it. So let's put in a bit less this time. Let's just go to, each one of these is 10, so let's put 30. Yeah, and then just the less we've got to degas, the faster it will degas as well. I am really worried about the big pores of this. I don't know how on earth I'm going to be able to actually do, like, mix enough of this together to do like a pour of 50 screens. There is a slower acting version of this. I might have to go to that. It obviously, everything is increased. It gives you another 20 minutes, I suppose, before it'll really set. But it takes another day to cure, so fully cure. So obviously that's going to be a problem. So let's do it. In lead mixy mix. Oh, it's not mixed. Come on, mixy mix. That's going to have to be enough. In here, degas. I mean, this is so. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this to 25 of these molds. We are literally just going to let it get to minus 25, so like minus 0.8 bar, and then pull it. So it seems to be going off so much faster than when I didn't have the dye in it, which I find surprising. It's off. It's still a liquid. Obviously overspilled. We're just gonna, I say this is supposed to have the mold block on the top, but it's fine. And then it's going to go into the pressure pot. Apologies for not lifting this up onto the desk, but we are massively against the clock here. And this is on wheels and it's heavy. So I'm just doing up the screws. 4 massive wing nuts. And pressurizing. Okay, so we're now at 60 psi. So that is now in a pressure pot, under pressure. Under pressure. Yeah, and some. So all of this is now scrap. So this is the other issue, of course, because we're just doing test ones. It's obviously a ludicrously expensive way of making one screen. But it is just unfortunately how that works when we're in the testing phase. But we're learning things, always learning things. Let's get rid of our trash, just in case we've got uncured resin on stuff. Can go over there now. Yeah, so what I really want to do is get some wood, so like actually do some wood, and kind of fill that pot with timber apart from the circle where the actual cup goes in, because then that'll be a lot less air to pull out. That was under 130. Thank you, Shep. That's good to know. I said we'll have a look on the website now. Let's totally go over to the computer and the internet. The internet would tell us what's going on. Hello. Right, so we go on to Bentley Chemicals. So I get all my stuff from Bentley Chemicals. They're a lovely little firm down south, and yeah, I get all my stuff from them. They're great. There's the hair for it. How dare you? She's talking about me, a mad scientist. Yeah. Right, so this is Bentley Chemicals. These are the guys that we can just geek out about all the cool things Bentley Chemicals do. So much stuff! I want to use all of it, but it's also expensive. So what we're using urethane plastics and coatings. We're using Smoothcast 325. So these are Smoothcast 327, Smoothcast 326, Smoothcast 325. Now, these are all the Smoothcast range, and basically, in general, these are all actually the same material, but the activator is a faster acting activator. So if you can, this isn't true for all of them, but if you want a kind of 325.5, you would effectively get two. You would get a 325 and a 326. You would mix the part B's together, you'd mix the part A's together, and then it would actually get you a half in the middle acting sort of acting reactor. We've got we can pick a winner. Ready for picking the winner? It's Westbrook Drew! Congratulations, Westbrook Drew! You have won 100 J-Rex. What will you spend them on? Shall we do another one? That's awesome. Send me your email and I will add. I did remember to do Lurtzix from like a week ago. Then he rigged. yes, you can internally spend the points. Yes, so I did put Lurtzix points on. But yeah. So we should tell you that again, shouldn't we? Not because I'm not giving Drew 100 points, but just that was quite fun. Let's do it again. throwing J-Rex around. It's fine. So yeah, so let's have a look at the charts for these things. So we've got 325. Pot life, 2.5 minutes. That is quick. That explains things. I thought it was 5 minutes. Oh, 5 to 10 minutes. No, it's a 10-minute cure time. Holy crap, that is quick. That is the quickest resin I've ever used. And it is no wonder it is going off so damn fast. Cool. Methinks we might need 326. It's just maybe. Who won? My stream sucked. Westbrook Drew won. But we've done another raffle too, so please re-enter. And yes. I say 1 ticket. You get 1 ticket if you're a follower, 5 if you're a sub. Yeah, 2.5 minute pot life. So I was at 1.5 minutes. I was still only just under it. And the problem with that was I have not degassed that as much as I wanted to. It cures in 10 minutes, so in theory we can pull it out of a mold in 10 minutes. It's like, no way. So, interestingly, that doesn't mean you can pull it out of the mold, actually. It means it's cured, which means it's a solid, but a jelly solid. You then have to put it in an oven at 65 degrees Celsius for 6 hours, and then you need to take it out and let it go to room temperature, John. Not at room temperature on the outside, room temperature to its core. That's what I did wrong last time, and that's why it toured. So basically, leave it overnight. So I mean, we were literally on the nose on that. So yeah, we can't use that for the Carrack. That is not going to work. So, what's our next option? 326. So 9-minute pot life, 60-minute cure. So that seems more like it. That seems more like it, I think. So I can see us getting that. This is why you need to do tests. If we'd have bought the big kit for 130 quid a can, we'd have been annoyed because this stuff is really hard to use. So this is just a really fast activator, basically, that's doing this to us. So 326. So I'd say this shouldn't be any different to material. It's just a faster activator. You will use our J-Rex for prizes for the community. That is exceedingly generous of you, Drew. Indeed. We will also, at some point, not today, do some actual giveaways of physical stuff. No, it shouldn't affect that at all, Mini Flames, actually. And I say the thing is, I think Part B is the activator. I've not my gloves on, so I'm not going to pick them up again. I'm not even going to finish my drink because I realised I picked up my drink with my gloves on. So, therefore ruining the drink. Because now I can't touch the outside of the glass. Dumbass. I'm going to have to very carefully decant it into another glass. Yeah, so obviously, I mean, that's the other thing. So, things we've learned from this experiment. First of all, before we say what we've actually learned from this experiment, people do ask me sometimes, how do I know how to do all the stuff that I do? You've just witnessed how I know all the stuff that I know how to do. Learn by doing. Just do it. Thank you for the entering the raffle, Urban Burger. Just do it. Google it, buy it, do it. Fail forward. That hasn't worked. I can guarantee you that hasn't worked. We haven't degassed it enough. That is going to be bubbly as fuck. I'd be damned surprised if it isn't. I would want to degas that for at least 2 minutes because you can still see bubbles coming out of it. Try again. It's how we've got our, we've finally got the arrow screens to work. That's only taken us 2 years. Just fail often, fail fast, fail forward. Yeah, absolutely. It's the only way to learn this stuff. There are very few places that you can actually go and learn making. You kind of have to just do it, and do it until you get it right, and then you get better at it. So things we've learned from that. It's always important to when you fail at stuff, not You shouldn't go into things expecting to fail. Sometimes you do, because it's like, I've never done this before, this is not going to go well. And you go into it knowing that, and it's fine. But there's no point barreling into something just knowing you're going to fail and go, oh, well, it was a failure, I knew it would be. You're going into it going, right, I need to learn as many things as I can from this inevitable failure. Do you know what I mean? And you have to, it's actually harder in a way, because you need to be methodically thinking all the way through, and you'll realize things as you're doing it to go, I should have done that a different way. Write it down, say it out loud, tell someone about it, because, you know, that was the whole point of doing it and failing, is because as soon as you did that, you knew you shouldn't have done it. You knew you should have done it a different way, or at least you'll try it the next way the next time. But if you don't learn from those mistakes, then you are just wasting your fucking time. So what have we learned from that? Well, we need a slower activating fucking resin. That is without a doubt. I definitely think, without a shadow of a doubt, that die has sped it up. It is a plastic die in itself, so that has definitely sped it up. It wasn't that fast when I did it the first time. Well, it didn't feel that fast. I mean, I degassed it and stuff. I mean, obviously it did go sludgy, but yeah, not that bad. The mixing cup's too big. Okay. So my mixing cup is too big for doing these test trials, which may mean that I'm not actually getting a very good 50-50 mix, which won't be helping me. It's very difficult to get that gauge right when you're just doing with teeny tiny lines. I could do it by weight, but it's not 50-50 by weight. It's 100 to 115, which obviously you can just work out. So yeah, smaller mixing cups. Almost glass test tube type size things, fine. We're definitely going to need a syringe, I think, like a hypodermic syringe, for working out how much of this dye to put in, because it's such a, I mean, I put a single drop, it's a very viscous dye, I put a single drop on that slide and then just dipped that plastic cocktail stick end into it and then mixed that in, and there's still stuff left on that plastic stick and still most of it left on thing, and that was more than enough blue dye in my opinion for the Carrack. So we're going to have to be measuring minute amounts even when we're talking about the full gallon tin. So that's another thing we've learned. There were still bubbles coming out of that. So definitely need to degas it for at least a couple of minutes. We need to fill that drum, the degas drum, with some wood. So what I'll do is I'll cut some wooden discs on the CNC, and then we'll have some wooden discs at the top with a hole cut out in the middle, so we've got somewhere to put the mixing cup, and that'll get rid of a lot of air out of that. I do also have another vacuum pump. Crispy has it at the moment, but I'm tempted to get my second pump and then just plumb them together with some one-way valves, because then we can degas twice as fast, which might be worth it. It's only going to save us maybe 20 seconds, but I say when we're pouring, my goal is to build a mold that holds at least 25 to 30 of these molds. So yes, Lertzig, provided that you can definitely know that you've scraped out all of that from the second cup, and will that take longer than the pouring? I don't know, because the advantage when you pour it in is that you know you haven't left any in the other cup. All of these becomes far less of a problem when you're doing the proper batch, because you're mixing such a large amount that, yeah, the amount that was left in that cup is percentage-wise not a really big issue. So yes, that would be faster, and then you can actually get your measurements really right and then scrape it out. Syringe for yes, I mean, again, when we're doing the full batches, actually drawing it into a syringe and squirting out, yes, we've wasted that. Oh no, but will we waste that syringe? We don't have to waste that syringe, do we? If we wrap it, put tape over the end and wrap it, it's only had one part in it at that point. That's a very good idea. So we could actually, if we had a bag that we could put that in, so we're not contaminating things with it, we would basically be able to reuse that syringe for the mixing purposes of it. And we could actually do that for both halves. So that's not a bad idea. Just get some cheap little syringes. Yeah, I like that. The more material, the faster it hardens. I don't know. I don't think so. Makes the patches in a freezer. I have no idea what that would do. I would slow it down, I suppose. Must do. But it says store and use at 23 degrees. So I don't know. More material. It is exothermic. It requires heat to cure. But I don't think they could have a pot life in a set amount. Smooth-on's very good. The reason I say this is Smooth-on's very good at giving, obviously people the information they need. I don't think if the amount you were mixing affected its pot life, I don't think they'll be able to give you a time. Would be my sort of thing there. So yeah, 9 minutes pot life. That sounds doable. When you think we've got to do that on a slightly bigger batch, I mean, actually pouring it and mixing it doesn't really take much longer. Degassing will take longer because you've got physically more air to draw out. And you're in a deeper cup, so the bubbles take longer to come up through a relatively viscous liquid. We'll probably find it's less viscous. The 326 will be less viscous. It certainly will be becoming less viscous slower anyway. More viscous slower, but I don't know. So what's that going to give us? 3 minutes degas, 1 minute to mix it. Because obviously it'll take a little bit longer to mix it because we've got more to mix. Do it properly. So that's going to give us a good 3 to 4 minutes to pour it into 25 holes. That's very doable. It's not going to take long. You could degas them before you mix, certainly, but you introduce most of the bubbles when you mix it, if we're honest. I mean, yes, you could. You could, especially if you, if you put it out to 2 separate mixing cups, you could degas one, degas the other, then mix them, then degas it again. Yeah, it would be less to degas though. But again, if the bubble pulls out of the bottom, the liquid's still going to make it, so does it save any time? These are all really good questions, and these are all the questions that go around in my mind. It's like, would it make a difference? To be honest, it's one of those things that if you're going to measure it out in 2 cups, what are you going to waste? 2 minutes to degas it? Do it. Might save you that one bubble. And one bubble will be a rejection. So, it's just a little bit more time. And it's, a properly small amount of time to just stick it in there. Oh, interesting, Patch. So what's so the more you do, the more it will, the faster it will harden. That's interesting. So wonder how, because I mean, some of the casts they do with these smooth-on casts are huge. So I mean, how can they say that it's a 9? I don't know. Interesting. So yeah. So I know. If it's a larger piece, it takes longer to cure. They do say that in the instructions. Because you have to give it longer in the mold if it's a large mold. Presumably because it's still gooey in the middle. Yeah. Note, large mass castings get very hot and shrink more. Interesting. Cool. Okay, so things we have learned. They are all good things. So let's have a look at 327. We shouldn't disregard 327. So let's have a look at 327. 20 minutes, 4 hours. I think we're going a bit too far now. Because that is going to be... that's going to be a long time to do the full cure. Yeah, let's not. So 326, middle boy, I think is the one to go with. Cool. Okay. No, I think that's cool. 24 quid for the little trial pack, 130 for the real one. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. While we're here, we should look at some of the other cool ass things that Bentley Chemicals make. we have got, if you're obviously you got your silicon rubbers, which are things like I can do with two-parters. So things like obviously the one that we used to make that mold is a platinum cast. Rubber glass, that sounds fun. EcoFlex series. I think I've used some of this before. It's good for. Oh, no, perhaps I haven't used this before. You can make it. You can use it for mold making, and for all sorts of. It's very skin-like, I think, EcoFlex, especially when you always put skin pigments in it. Sorta Clear, what a fantastic name. Well, is it clear? Well, it's sorta clear. Perfect. Easy Brush Vac Bag Silicon. That sounds specific. I've used Dragon Skin. That's what I've used before. Dragon Skin is cool. So that's what you use for prosthetics a lot. That's really fun. It's actually quite tough, but it takes a beating as prosthetics. Really good. Yeah, Moldstar is what we're using for our actual molds. Moldstar 15. Clear silicon encapsulating rubber for... That's quite interesting stuff. For, like, covering solar panels with and stuff. You could use that for all sorts, for outdoor stuff. Interesting. So yeah, I find all these things fascinating. They've got epoxies, polyesters... what were we looking at before? The foams and things are interesting. Oh, I don't want that. I've just been on that. I'm going to go back to the plastics. So this is where this crystal clear that I'm allergic to lives, so we ignore that one. Could you simply build a fully vacuumed mixing and pouring system? I'm sure you could, but I think just getting fucking better at it will be it's just a better way of doing it. I always think there's like, yes, there's solutions to these things, but people have been doing it this way professionally, perfectly adequately. I don't need to reinvent that wheel. I just need to get good at it. There is a certain amount of I just need to practice and get good. Yeah. And I guess the thing is, until I get good enough, I just use the slower stuff. But no, I think that middle ground stuff will be fine. Sometimes the very fast-acting stuff is mainly designed to be brushed onto things because it's literally curing as you're brushing it. So there is advantage, like certainly like brush on silicons have a pot life for like 30 seconds. You literally mix it and brush, mix another bit, brush. And that's how you kind of like, that's the sort of stuff you do for life casting. So if you're actually covering someone in it to give a cast of their head. Just build a full workshop you can put in a vacuum. No. Just go around like saying pressure suits. That'd be hilarious. Well, no, it wouldn't, because everything would boil. Like, all the liquids would boil away before you had a chance to use it. Be amazing. Yeah, has anyone had life casting done? I haven't. I feel that it's not necessary anymore. That might just be me, though. Excuse me, yawning away. I would love to have one. I'd like to be 3D scanned. I think that's the modern solution to the same issue. Is you just get 3D scanned, and then I can CNC my own head or something. I think I could probably cope with having my head live cast. I don't think I would freak out, but would it be a useful thing to have? I want to make bobbleheads of myself. You don't need your own head for that, though, surely. I suppose you do actually. You need a decent facsimile. But I think a 3D scan of that would be fine. Like I do feel like a decent 3D scan, not one done with a bloody PlayStation camera or something, but like a proper 3D scan of your whole. I want my whole body done because I want to effectively have a mannequin of myself for doing cosplay stuff. And, you know, if you have an accurate enough analog of yourself, you can do prosthetics works, which I'd love to do more of. But you need this is the thing, it's like, if you just get a normal head and then make a prosthetic on it and then try and put it on your own head, you are stretching the prosthetic to fit your own head. But it didn't start as something that's your head shape, so you're just deforming the whole thing. And, you know, so it's that whole thing. If you need a really perfect analog of the part of your body you're going to put the prosthetic on, so that the thing that you're creating doesn't get warped and stretched and deformed when you put it on, or it's baggy, or it's, you know, stretched or whatever. So you need that perfect analog to start with. But, you know, we've got the CNC machine, so if I had a 3D scan of myself, I could carve myself out of timber or foam or whatever, and then have a JR mannequin to do prosthetics on and stuff. It probably would have to be something that you could. Would it be fine? You could seal it well enough to be able to put silicone, just body filler it and then put top coat AC2 paint on it. That would be a good enough surface to be able to put silicone on. Yeah, I just love to do it because in theory, if you get a cast of it, if you get a analog of your head, and then a cool scary monster 3D render, and then make sure one fits inside the other, you can make a casting mold to mold the difference between the two, and then you've got the perfect prosthetic. And that's how it's done professionally. And, you know, traditionally you would go to these prosthetics warehouses and they would do your head, and actors and stuff in films get sent to these places and then get told to not put any fucking weight on their face until they finish shooting the film, basically. So these places are awesome because they have like rooms full of plastic heads of celebrities that are their actual. So they'll take a silicone mold and they'll do a solid plastic cast of it, just in case they ever needed to redo one, because that solid plastic one won't get deformed over time, whereas the silicone molds will eventually perish. But if they've got a plastic, they cast a plastic head of the person, they never need to get them back again. And when you think, a lot of films that have very lightweight prosthetics, they're one-use only prosthetics. So every day of shooting, you've got one or maybe one and a spare prosthetics that you have to create for that person. So these guys are churning them out for these films, you know, to do them because they're reapplied every day. I think if I was in one of those films, I would try my best to try and keep it on for. I know it sounds scary, keep it up for a few days. I mean, they have to I think Worf, the guy that plays Worf in Star Trek, holds the record, I think, for the most hours spent in makeup or something. And it's that whole thing, they have to be there like 5 in the morning, 5 hours before every fucker else gets there to start filming, to have all their prosthetics done. And then they get on set and everyone else is just turning up with their first coffee of the day, all well slept. And it's just like, fuckers. You bastards. Yeah, so I'd be tempted to try and keep it on. It's just is it good enough this morning? I don't want to have to get up. Yeah, hilarious. But yes, I'd love to have a go at that. Did you know they did that at CitizenCon 2947? Well, they had the head scan rig, the Star Citizen head scan rig there. Yes, I did see that. I didn't have time to sit in it, unfortunately, because I was a bit busy with the Raven. Maya went on it, and Maya was scanned hilariously, and then he persuaded them to let him be scanned wearing the red hat, which obviously breaks the thing completely because you got to wear a skull. Well, Maya didn't have to wear a skull cap. Those with hair had to wear a skull cap. Yeah, because obviously they don't want any hair. They have to, you know, it's a bald head that they are scanning. But he got one done with his hat on, which is awesome. Now, The way that Star Citizen NPCs work, I have harped on so much about this. People who have listened to my streams before will know how much I like to harp on about this. The way that Star Citizen heads work is that there's lots of 3D scans of lots of people that are put in the pool. I don't know how many are currently in the PU pool. And then different attributes are taken in certain percentages from each head. So many percent of the lips and so many percent of the ears and the way they mix them, all this kind of stuff. And you can not just two-way mixing, but all sorts of. But effectively, you end up with this really long string barcode of the recipe, basically, for your head, right? And in theory, if you have say Maya is head A, if you have 100% of all characteristics of head A, you have Maya's head, right? But conversely, if you have designed yourself an NPC, or like your head, your avatar's head, there's a code attached to it. And I don't see why you can't save the code in the same way that you save key bindings. Just a button that says export, because that code just gets spat out, and then when you go back in a new patch, you click import and it brings the code back in, and that will keep on working until they change the head pool, which I know they do occasionally. Well, boo fucking who, you'll have to redo your head anyway. But in those mean times, just being able to import your goddamn head, it'll be really embarrassing if they've already done this, because I've not played Star Citizen in a while. No, I'm sure there wasn't an export import option last time I played Star Citizen. Oh, really? Is this in Star Citizen? I just got... Because that's the other thing. It's just like, if you could make head and export the code and then send someone the code, Leela would spend, Callie's daughter, would spend her entire spare time life designing Star Citizen heads for people. Because she loves doing it. And it's just like, you could just send someone a photo and go, I want to look like that. And yeah, she would. She's so good at it as well. She would get you looking exactly right and then export you that code. And that would be brilliant. But the thing that, yeah, there is a character in SE that looks like you. Is it the whale? Bastard. But this is the thing. I know it's not a thing in SC, but there is no technology that is required to make it a thing in SC. It already exists because there already is a string code for every face. It's how they're made. Otherwise, how do you see the same head? How does that one client see the same head as another client? There has to be a barcode, string code for that head, so that all the different computers see, all the different clients see the same face. So it has to exist in there, just like So why can't it be exported like a key binding? I don't understand. Do it, CIG. Got nothing else to be doing. Yeah. 1 minute 30 till we draw our second and final prize giveaway of the evening. So yeah, where are we with other stuff? We have been doing some printing. Let me put this box here, maybe. Everything's in boxes at the moment. It's getting a bit chaotic. We're moving quickly towards. Yes, here we go. This is the box I was looking for. So one of the not so fun jobs. Well, at least a compass is quite difficult because do all planets have moons have a magnetic north? So how's that compass going to work? Right. So this is a not very interesting step to doing a kit model. Once we've got all the individual pieces designed, like this one, for example, the front fuselage, this is obviously a massive piece. This is fine on its own. We're good. We're good. I did count up the number of pieces in the Carrack. We're at 66, which is quite interesting. So what we have to do is build what I call production rafts. So I don't want to have to pack 66 individual pieces into a box, because that would be a ball ache, and there wouldn't be room because there needs to be foam in between each piece. So what we do is we amalgamate pieces onto these bigger rafts. Sometimes they're just literally Formlabs rafts squished together, and sometimes they are my own custom raft that I put stuff on. The reason I do these rafts is because I know exactly how wide this raft is, so it can go in on its side into the foam, and I know it's the right size. So these ones are going to sit flat, so it doesn't matter. Although I think this raft is using more resin than my raft, so I might change it. Anyway, so here we've got 6 cargo container doors for the 3 cargo containers, plus the engines. Now, why have we picked this combination of things? Well, they're all the same height. So when a 3D printer's printing, it's printing in layers. just throw the fucking things around. It's printing in layers. So if we do a whole build platform of things that are this tall, it will all take the same amount of time, so it's not wasting its time. So if we printed this and this on the same build platform, this one will be well printed, and it's still having to go up the thousands of layers in this one, and that's just sitting still, so it doesn't matter. So what you try and do to make it the most time efficient as possible is Phil will make this as a single piece, and this will go in the kit like this, and we'll fill a whole build platform of them, as many as we can fit on, and that's the most efficient, time efficient way of printing things. So we've got this one, so that's quite nice. We've got this boyo. So this is... kind of makes my camera focus, I've discovered. These are the side turrets that go into the wings of the Carrack. We have 6 of them in the end, I've done. So we have retracted, so that's when it's in and facing perpendicular outwards, how you get into the turret. We've then got a normal deployed position, where it's in and then facing forward or backwards, because they're actually symmetrical. And then we've got another one that I've done, which is kind of at a jaunty angle. Both the guns are pointing upwards and it's at an angle, so it can be pointing kind of up and to the side or down to the side. So basically you've got 6 turrets and 2 turret positions, so lots of choice on side turrets. We have another raft here with an ominous gap, which we'll discuss in a moment. 2 Pisces, so in-flight and landed Pisces, and then 2 manned turrets, one with its guns up, one with its guns flat, and 1 unmanned turret, same again, guns up, guns flat. So you've got some choices on your center turrets. Now what is missing is the little Ursa rover. So the Ursa rover I still need to tweak a little bit, but he's hopefully going to fit on this raft in the middle. Things are going to have to get squidged around, so he's going to fit in there. The raft might need to get a bit longer, that's fine. So that's that. This is a raft that I've nicked a piece off. It's here. So that is front landing gear deployed and retracted, and rear landing gear that goes onto the wing pieces. So this is the landing gear raft. That's just coincidental that they're all the landing gear. I literally just do these rafts based on height alone. As you can see, all these things are about the same height. Just happens that they're all landing gear. The reason I've taken this one off is because I put my little JR on it. So if you see in there, if my camera will focus. Focus, damn you. Oh, come on, perhaps it's that's breaking it. There's a little JR printed into it in there. I put a JR on all of the models somewhere. You can't see it when the model's built. It's always hidden somewhere. I don't think many people have found them. This one's a really obvious one, obviously. My favourite is on the tumbrel. Love my JR on the tumbrel. It just amused the fuck out of me when I did it. No one has spotted it and told me about it yet. So this is a raft with the front ramp, retracted ramp, its hangar doors, and these 2 joining bits for the top of the fuselage. Again, all roughly the same height, so that works as a build. A wing, I've got a print that's actually in the printer at the moment, that's got all 4 wings on. This is a crazy ass print. So this has got a deployed ramp, all the antennas, the scanning arrays, open and closed, and the 2 scanners that come out of the wings when it's in flight. So that's all on one. That's 10, 12 pieces on one raft. We then got the back section. We've then got the clear parts as well, the windows and things. I think that's about everything. So what we have to do is work out how the fuck these fit in a box. So that's and the stand and the card and decals and all this sort of stuff. If I just prop that up there. So one of the things we have to do is go, right, okay, how is this all going to fit in the box? So we have to get all of these what are called production. Oh, this I haven't shown you. So this is a massive print actually. So this is all the cargo pods. So we have an open cargo pod now. So you can see inside, there's the little walkway inside it and a few details on the inside, but that's one of the Carrack's cargo pods with its doors open. We've then got 3 normal ones, plus the one that the stand fits into, and our top of our cargo bay tucked into there. So that is all of the cargo pod stuff. That's a big print. So 66 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... 10, 11, 12 prints plus our Carrack stick. This is a Carrack stick, in case you're unsure what a Carrack stick is. Why do you need a Carrack stick? 2 reasons. 1, you stick a magnet in the end of it, so you've got a thing to pick things up with. Is this the one I magnetized? Yeah, so look. So you can take the doors on and off with the Carrack stick. It's awesome. Because when you put these tight-fitting things in, especially when you've painted them, they're a dick to get back out. So I thought, you know what? Magnets are awesome. So you need a Carrack stick for that. And the other thing that the Carrack stick now does, which is equally as awesome, is you use it for these clear parts. So there's a triangular end to it that fits into these clear parts, and this is so that you can actually fit every single clear part on the Carrack from the inside of the sort of entryways. They're all angled perfectly so that you can. So this one is the one that's going in. I'm gonna have to wait. Let me line it up and then I'll get it to the camera because my eyes don't work that well. So that's lining it up to that top window there. You can't really see that. But what that means is you can spray the whole of the body and get it painted before you put the glass elements in, the clear windows and things for lighting it. And this stick allows you to easily get these pieces in and into place and glued. And then obviously, once it's glued, you just pull the stick out. And it's left the piece in there. So I think there's 5 pieces that you require the Carrack stick to insert. So they are all custom built for the Carrack stick. So that's all the pieces. So it's not going to be a super tight pack. So that's another piece. I'll just break this off. So that's another window there. You see that you use the Carrack stick to get in and out. So yeah, engineered to perfection. Trying to make this as painless as possible for you guys. I promise. It doesn't seem it sometimes, but I do promise. I do. Yeah, magnets for the win. I do like the Carrack sticks magnets. It does help the fact that we've got these larger magnets in this kit. So we've got 5mm by 2mm magnets as well as the 3x1s, and they've just got that much more power to them. So although this is a 3x1 underneath, there it's the 5x2 that's picking it up. Is the Carrack body completely opaque? Nothing's completely opaque. Yes. If you've got enough paint on it. No, that sounds awful. You've got enough paint on it. Yes, with the body of the Carrack is 2mm thick resin. Add to that base coats, top coats, As long as you're not using like a mag light inside it, you'll be fine. At the end of the day, if you're lighting the ship properly, and that sounds really awful, if you're lighting it, but you don't want it to be glowing out the side, it's the light that should be coming out as when. So in the dark, you will see the windows. They're not beacons. So yes, if it's lighted appropriately and painted, it will stop it coming through. I have great confidence. So one of the other things to remember is when you're lighting these, you're actually lighting these. I don't think a mag light would fit inside. Probably not. Well, you can get really small, like pen keyring mag lights. Yes, the Carrack stick TM. We should certainly TM it. It doesn't have Carrack stick written on it. It's got JRDF on it, because I do intend this to be a tool that is used for other projects. But obviously, it will always and forever be known as the Carrack stick because this is the first model we've used it on. I wanted to at CitizenCon 2019. I was not at all annoyed that instead of having an awesome model of the Carrack done, not that they could because the model wasn't ready, that they had an ice Carrack sculpture made for the event that melted after 4 hours. And I wanted just to get these water bottles and just write Carrack juice on the side and see if I could sell it to people at CitizenCon. It's like, Carrack juice, Carrack juice, Carrack juice, sir. They didn't even let us smash bits off and put it in whiskey. You know, it's so boring. Just smuggled it away. It was like this half-ton block of ice that was now in a melty shape of a Carrack. Hey-ho. We are also doing clear set of engines, just by the by. Yeah. Oh, so another thing we will have to do that I've never done before is, obviously, these are clear prints, right? But the Carrack's glass is not clear, it's slightly blue tinted, like we've discovered with the other stuff. Hello, Flan. Yeah, don't use 30 watt LEDs. Beacon. It will just melt it, I think. Oh no, 30 watts do give a fair amount of heat. What we're talking about. 30 watt LEDs give a lot of fucking heat. I do want to put a blue tint on this. We can put what are they? Alcohol inks into the 3D print resin, so it will 3D print in different colors. So that's another thing we're going to have to do. And the joy of that is that we've got to do that mix of resin to that tint. And then, guess what? Yeah, we have to match it with 3D print resin, with a different dye in a different resin, using a different thing. Yeah, I would imagine like 30 watts of heat. I don't know. LEDs are very efficient. I also don't know how LEDs are. I mean, obviously it's rated at 30 watt. It shouldn't give off 30 watts of heat, I wouldn't think. Yeah. Most of the time that LED bars get hot because it's a sort of cumulative heat that they're putting into the gel that LEDs are covered in. And you know, the glass screens, they'll sort of absorb quite a lot of heat. Obviously, they're nothing like incandescents. Theatres became a much cooler place when we started replacing everything with LED lights. In fact, one theatre that Engineering used to do, we had to put heaters in the end because the whole theatre was literally heated by the lighting rig. Because it was a fairly low ceiling black box theatre. And by the time you'd had rehearsal, the place was toasty. Because we were rocking something like 120 kilowatts of lighting in the damn thing. There was just massive parcam bars, massive flood bars. You know, by the time you'd done the rehearsal, during the day, the place was toasty. Slowly replaced everything with LEDs. Like, why it's so goddamn cold in here now? It's just like, oh yeah, because we don't have these massive lights anymore. Yeah, they were insane. So yeah, we actually had to put heaters in into the theatre. Otherwise, people were moaning that it was cold. It's like, oh yeah, because you're not sitting under lights anymore. Yeah, funny. So they're all much more energy efficient than we had to put heaters in. But they were water-based heaters rather than just pure electric, ruining all the points of economy. Cool. Right, so I guess I'm going to have to order some more resin, aren't I? I'm going to have to do all of this again. Yeah, so cool. Thank you all for joining. We didn't pick a winner. Let's pick a winner. Ready, steady. It's Patch. Well done, Patch. Can you send me your email address or real world name so that I can find you in the system? So I can find you in the system on our JRDF site, and then I can accrue you with points. That is dead easy to do. Unfortunately, it's not attached to Twitch in any way, shape, or form. I don't think I'd want my website attached to Twitch. It's bad enough APIs that I've got, let alone more Twitch things happening. Yeah, so fantastic. Thank you all for dropping in, sticking around, supporting the stream. We have been, I think this is our 14th stream. No, maybe not, 12 streams straight or something. We've been doing a lot. Twice a week is working all right. I hope you guys are enjoying it. A lot of you come time and time again, so that's cool. Is there anything else you'd like to see more of on these streams? Always good to have feedback. I say I'm quite enjoying having like these cameras set up. Now I'm up here. It does make things kind of like we can do more workshop-y type stuff. You get to watch me failing and working shit out on the fly. I don't know if that's fun or not. It might be better with a co-host. It's just sort of like for you guys to talk to when I'm buggering off into the bathroom filling bottles with water. But you gotta live and learn. I would like to see print error causes if possible. Oh yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, so the best way that I can do that is I'll take pictures of failures. I have one here. Camera. So this is technically a failure. This wouldn't end up in a kit. These are fine. These are fine. This one is loose, and we can see that these touch supports here have failed and have detached it, and I think when we look here we can sort of see that one isn't even meeting it there, so these touch points need to be a little bit bigger. It's crazy that it survived and actually printed all the way, because it was obviously printed from the bottom upwards, but it has failed at the bottom, so the ones on the inside were strong enough to keep it kind of together. I think which printer finished? My cable, right? So I have a print in the printer that I know has failed, which is quite hilarious. Great thing about a Form 3 printer, wow, that really has failed. So don't know why yet. We will find out, no doubt. But this one has failed spectacularly. So these are the wings. As you can see, there's a lot missing on them. So that's a big failure. Don't know why yet. Can't see anything obvious onto why yet. So that's interesting. So that we will have to... that I will have to investigate and muse.
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Thank you very much, Plan, for the sub. I do indeed have some great friends. A tier 3 as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you a lot. You get the cool emotes. You get... oh, what emote do you get? You get a Brian Chambers holding a Stormbreaker. I probably in my yes, there you go. There's your there's your Brian Chambers with a Stormbreaker, and the crate in the middle is actually a slightly photoshopped version of GHG's fridge crate, with the GHG taken off it and made JRDF blue, but that's an actual photograph of his crate. And then the first one is the RSI crate that the desks came in. But yeah, so you get to throw Brian Chambers with a Stormbreaker around the place, which is quite exciting. So yes, thank you exceedingly much for that, and yet another reason to get to my amazing MP3 zone. But yeah, so we should probably raid someone, shouldn't we? We should probably raid someone. Who we got? Let's raid Captain Burks. He's doing stuff. So yeah, we'll raid Captain Burks. Oh, you saw it during the studio tour. Is it still in his office? Because he did have it on the wall in his office for a while, but then he moved offices. Does he still have the crate in the corner? Because he he claimed the silver crate that was on stage with Chris Roberts at CitizenCon 2017 that we did. That was a crazy box. That one we did that in 3 days. Like the 3 days before, can we do this box? I had this great idea. The last minute idea is like, yeah, okay. And we quickly made this box, and literally it arrived wet because the paint still hadn't dried on this damn thing. Because we didn't have time to get metallic AC2 paint ordered in, so we had to use good old rattle can paint, and it hadn't gone off. We'd wrapped it, still wet. Came out the other end wet. Unwrapped it and let it dry at that end. So it had a slight stippling of bubble wrap. So slight texturing. Fucking hilarious. But that's typical stage builds, isn't it? So that's cool. So yes, say hi to Captain Burks for me. Tell him who we are, why the hell we would be here, how amazing we are, all the rest of it. And we shall see you on Sunday. Westbrook Drew, I don't know if he's around. I think he might be around this weekend to co-host. So we shall see you there. Ta-ta, my friends.